It's time for Wacky World Studios Sketching with Steven, featuring art director Steven Walker.
Hi there, in this episode of Sketching with Steven, we're going to be drawing one of our friendly bear characters. Here at Wacky World, we do some of the most amazing camping-themed environments, and they're some of our favorite jobs that we've ever done. So I thought it'd be fun to take one of our most popular characters from that theme and show you how to draw it. I've already pulled aside again some characters from our catalog, and so these are just as references for me to use while I'm drawing. Once again, all of our characters, you may remember from our episode last week, start with the basic shape, such as a circle. So you want to really practice drawing circles before you get started on our bear character. Once again, loosen up, take those arms out. You know, you're going to need to be loose to draw these nice round, fun shapes. I've also done a couple of practice drawings ahead of time so you can see kind of what we're going for at the end of this session. Okay, so let's get started. On our bear character, the very first thing we're going to start with is a circle. And we're going to start, once again, about the size of an orange. Just draw it very light. This is a guideline for the rest of your character. Now, once you have a circle that you're happy with, we're also going to draw some guidelines on that. We'll start with a vertical guideline right through the middle, as well as a horizontal guideline. That one's going to curve down just a little bit. That makes our circle look nice and round, like a sphere. So now we have our guidelines on the page. We're going to block in the main shape of the bear's head. And his head is actually a guitar shape. So he's got these very large cheeks. We kind of go back to our sketch here that we did, and then our model sheet. You'll see those really, really large cheeks there. He definitely got caught eating some things he shouldn't have been eating. He thought it was honey, a silly bear. So let's start with that guitar shape. The guitar is going to start coming off your circle here. It's going to curve out and then down to the vertical guideline. It's like a big letter C. Okay, now we're going to take that same shape, we're going to flip it and do the exact same thing on the other side of your circle. It's got those big chunky cheeks there. They're all full of honey, or oil, actually, in that case. Now the bear's head has a little bit of a skull shape at the top. It looks sort of like a letter M. You're going to go up and then back down to your vertical guideline. And same thing on the other side. So sort of like a letter M, or maybe two hills with a valley at the top of his skull there. And you could always go back over your lines as you like them, and you can darken them in. Okay, so now we have the main shape of our bear's head. So the next thing we're going to do is give him some ears. Now his ears are also circles. They're very round. Once again, if you look at these ears, very round. So right here, right where the dip is in this shape, you're going to draw a little circle there, very light. And we'll do the same thing over here. These ones don't have to be perfect because his ears, they're very flexible. They're nice and fluffy ears. Okay, so now taking that circle, we're going to just define the ear a little bit. I'm just going to go over the circle. And if you want, you can even give them a little tufts of fur. They're almost like little shark fins coming off that shape. A couple little tufts of fur. He is a furry little bear. And then you're going to come back in almost like a spiral, and that's the inside of his earlobe now. Okay, now for that second ear. We're going to go ahead and just define the outer shape of that once again. Give it a few little tufts of fur along the way, a couple little shark fins sticking out. And then make that spiral shape, create the inner side of his ear. We can even give him a little fur on the inside of his ear too. There you go. Okay, so there's his ears. So after we get that, that's the outside shape of his head. We're gonna come into the inside. And what I usually like to start with, because it's right in the center of his face, is his nose. Okay, and since his face is a guitar shape, his nose is a guitar pick. We'll draw a little guitar pick right here. It also kind of looks like a rounded triangle. And then he's got a really wet, shiny nose. So let's give him a little highlight right here in the center of it. A long, skinny line. And then you can shade in around that highlight. Just kind of scribble all that in. Okay, so we have his nose. So then we need the bridge of his nose, which is also going to be kind of a triangle shape. And we're going to start from the corners of the nose. We're just going to bring it up to our vertical guideline here. All right, so there's his nose shape. Now, let's go ahead and give him his mouth. Now, usually he's got a little muzzle, so his nose is sticking out. Since he's facing us, it has a little bit of a foreshortened look. But the way that we do that is we give it basically like another circle or an oval shape. So it starts right here where that bridge is, and it goes down. Okay, and then basically the same on the other side. So almost like another circle. And there you have his muzzle. Again, you can go over your lines once you're happy with them, make them a little darker, a little cleaner. Okay, now for his mouth. He's kind of a worried little bear. You know, he got into something he shouldn't have and he got caught. So we're gonna make his mouth look a little surprised. So let's start with the opening of his mouth. We'll start with his lip. His lip is gonna start at the bottom of your circle, and it's sort of like a letter J. It's gonna curve up and then back down. Okay, and for the top of his lip, that's going to be like a upside down letter U. It's going to curve up and then back down. Uh-oh. Okay, and then he also has a little line that connects from the bottom of his nose to the top of his lip. So you can just darken your guideline in right there. And then we should see the tongue inside his mouth. So that's going to be almost like a letter M. Two little bumps down here in the bottom of his mouth. And then you can shade in the back part just to give it some depth. Okay, now just a couple more things left for our bear. We're going to start with the eye shapes. Okay, and he actually has almost a mask around his eyes here. So it's a different color than the main part of his head. It's a lighter brown. So for that mask, we're going to draw two large oval shapes, one on either side of that bridge. Yeah, and these can be very light. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now at the top of that mask, he's got two large eyebrows, which basically are going to be the top part of your mask. You're just going to draw a curved line across the top to create the eyebrow. Same thing on this side. Okay, now those eyebrows are a little darker than the rest of his face, so let's go ahead and shade those in. So now for his eyes are also circles. They're nice and wide and open because he's surprised. So let's draw two circles right in the bottom of his mask here. Nice and big. Again, keep it loose and then go over it when you're happy with that shape. You can make the top part of the eye a little thicker. That'll make it look a little bit like an eyebrow. Same thing over here. Now, if you wanted to look a little extra surprised, you can add a little bit more of a wrinkle right above that eye. It's a little curved line. That just gives him a little bit more of a worried look. Now, inside those eyes, we're going to go ahead and draw his pupils. His pupils are going to be nice round circles right in the center there. Again, he's nice and surprised, so you caught him in the middle of something. Draw 2 circles. Inside those circles, you're going to draw 2 more circles. Give him a little highlight as well. The highlight is basically just 1 more circle. And then shade in that middle circle there. And there's his pupil. Now, just a couple more things that you could do just to make him look a little worried. You can add some more fur. Maybe his fur's a little bit unkempt. He's a wild bear after all who just broke into some honey. So just a couple more shark fins on the sides here where his cheeks are. Okay, and then just go over any lines you want to keep. Make them a little bit more defined. And there we go. There's our fun little camping bear. Now, as with our previous drawings, always make sure you sign them. Take credit for your work. You should be proud of it. All right, and thank you again for drawing with me today. If you enjoyed this drawing, please like and comment in the credits down below. And we'll look forward to seeing you again next time.